Hey, boss. Hey, hello, hello, hello. It's LaShanda Henry here, aka Sister Sense, jumping on so I can share some good with you today. I've got the lovely Printaman, and we are excited because what I want to do is I actually want to talk to you about seven important, super important mid-week conversations that we definitely need to have. I want to share some reminders, things that you've got to remind yourself of, especially at this point in the week. You know, they call Wednesday hump day. Maybe you're in a hump, you're in a slump, and we want to make sure that your motivation and your momentum is maintained. So what I'm going to do is to talk to you about seven important mid-week reminders that you got to share with yourself. Now, before we get started, let me just kind of quickly share this out, because of course sharing is what it's all about, and you can do this as well. Feel free to share this session out to your business besties who need to really make sure that they're staying consistent, and again, they are maintaining both motivation and momentum when it comes to working on their business goals. So first thing, I'm going to share seven of these with you, okay? First thing you got to do is remember to remind yourself that when life gives you lemons, it's time to make lemonade. Hey, Rhonda. Hey, Sabrina. Hey, Natalie. Welcome, welcome. Come on in, come on in, come on in. When life gives you lemons, you got to make lemonade. So today is actually my clarity call day. On Wednesdays, hump day, I have clarity call one-on-one sessions with my clients. I started this morning, and I kind of wanted to jump on here in between sessions so I could share some of this motivation with you. The first client that I spoke to today, she said, LaShanda, whew, it's not been a good week. And I said, oh my God, what's going on? So she's like, this is happening. The laptop is crashing. The Wi-Fi is not working. The internet is driving me crazy. When life gives you lemons, you got to make lemonade. So when we talked about the laptop crashing, when we talked about her Wi-Fi not working, I gave her several recommendations as far as what to do there, right? First and foremost, I said, okay, we got to find a low-cost solution to you getting a new laptop. You don't want to wait until this one dies before you actually get a new one. That's number one. I said number two, what you want to do is actually come up with solutions. So in the interim of the laptop driving you crazy and the Wi-Fi driving you crazy, what are some things in the back end that we can adjust? So we end up working on her back end marketing, and we end up coming up with some strategies that are going to help her during this interim time. And so one of the things that you've got to do is change your perspective when you find yourself in challenging situations, okay? Because I've got a challenging situation right here. I tell you, she'll be on my couch, quiet as a mouse, quiet as a church mouse. And the minute I jump on live, she's like, rattle, 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 rattle. Let me get your attention. That is my Printaman, by the way. Hey, Prin, come up here, mama. Come up here. All righty, you stay here with me. So that's the first thing that I want you to think about. Any challenges? Anybody been going through some crazy challenges this week? One thing that you got to do is to, again, not fixate on the negative. Find this as an opportunity to really dig in and figure out what needs to happen. Funny enough, I had a temporary challenge in my office. The ants came marching one by one. And it was an opportunity for me to actually clean up the space. You know, when we talk about manifestation, one of the things that you need to do to manifest more is to clear out what you're not using. So I took the negative of the ants literally trying to take over my office as an opportunity to focus on what needs to be cleaned up, what space do I need to create to manifest more, and that is exactly what I did. So that's the first thing that I want to share with you, right? That is number one. Number two, you can find a way or you can find an excuse, but you can't do both. You can find a way, you can find an excuse, but you can't do both. So with the Wi-Fi situation, she was saying, look, you know, I can't do all of these lives and I can't put this content out there. And I was supposed to have this stuff done and it's not ready yet because the internet is driving me crazy. Right? Yes, this is happening to you, but again, you can find a way or find an excuse, but you can't do both. So in that space, I said, look, I get the challenges that you're having with the internet, and I know that you want to do a lot of video, but guess what? You're not out of options. Let's do some audio instead of video. Let's do some pre-recorded content instead of live content. So you can still put the information out there. You can still follow your schedule without necessarily going, well, I can't do anything. My hands are tied, right? You can find a way or find an excuse, but you can't do both. That's number 2. Number 3. Okay, number 3 that I want to share with you here is the only way to fail is if you quit. The only way you fail is if you quit. At this point in the week, you got to understand there's a lot more to do. There's a lot more to go. But if you find yourself on hump day in a slump in some way, you've got to make sure that you're powering through to get to your best you. The only way you can fail at this is if you quit. So what do you feel like is exhausting you, that you feel like you just 2 legs away from giving up on? This is the time that you got to power up so that you can push through and move forward. Okay, these are things that I want to remind you of. Sometimes we look at what we're seeing, what we're feeling as our immediate truth, not understanding that sometimes what sight is showing you and what heart is feeling is just a distraction to deter you from what you need to do to move forward. So I want you to think about that. The only way is if you to fail is if you quit. Okay, find a way, find an excuse. You cannot do both. So here's the deal. I want you to complete the sentence. This week I will ... This week I will ... Even if it's been hard so far, even if you think on some level, maybe the negative side of you is like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work out. Commit. Stick to the plan. The only way to fail is if you quit. So at this point, what's the plan? I want to make sure that you're sticking to it. Identify something that you're going to stick to and commit to so that you can get to the end of the week feeling as accomplished as you were at the beginning when you were determined to get this stuff done. Okay, so complete the sentence. Feel free to drop it in here. Blessings to you, my dear. Thank you for joining. Let me know something that you say, this week I will ... Okay, really, really important. Now, by the way, the next thing that I'm going to share with you here on this list, this power list, is one of my favorites. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So as I was talking to one of my clients today, she said, you know what, LaShanda, I want to be able to work on some physical products for the final quarter of the year going into the new year. And I know that you're going to talk to me about writing a book. And I said, well, look, well, I have been writing quite a few books. She's been following my lives and getting that inspiration. I said, I don't want you to overextend and take on too much. I want you to remind yourself of that. So look, in this particular client, she has one of my book templates. I said, if you are in a position to prepare for the final quarter, give yourself at least 6 weeks. You've got September, you've got middle of October, all the way to the end of October. If you can say that you can commit to at least 6 to 8 weeks, the next 6 to 8 weeks, writing at least 1 or 2 hours a week to knock out a book within that time frame, then look, go for it. But if you find yourself overextending and there's just no room on it, the only way, number 1, to fail is if you quit. But number 2, the best way to fail fast is to overextend you. Think about that. Who's overextending themselves right now? You've got so much that you say you want to do and you're going to do and you're not doing it. And then you find yourself beating yourself up in a dark corner because you feel like you failed. The only way to fail is if you quit. But here's the deal. You will fail fast if you overcommit. So who's overcommitting? Who's overextending? What are you going to do to pull back so that you've got a practical plan of action that works for you? So I said to my client, again, writing that book, if that's something that you want to do, can you realistically put aside at least 6 to 8 weeks to give yourself at least 1 to 3 hours a week to work on that writing? If you can, great, go for it. If not, pull back on it. You got to work on understanding 2 sides of the fail coin. The only way you can fail is if you quit. But number 2, the best way, the fastest way to fail fast is if you overcommit. Do not overextend yourself. Now, I'm going to say this. My business was my first baby. My son is about to be 13 years. Thank God this year. Hopefully I can see him to 33 to 83 to, well, I don't know if he's, when he's 83, if I'm going to be alive, but you never know. We can have a Jetsons kind of future, and we figure out a way to extend our lives. We've been doing it pretty well thus far. But reality of the situation is, before I had him, my first baby, my first labor of love was my business. And so in order to support you this Labor Day, I have some awesome good available to you over at sistasense.com/sale, SALE, so that we can talk about some good solutions you can get from yours truly as part of my Labor Day sale that literally has started today. And it goes away in a few days. But of course, as we're talking about things that you need to remind yourself, things that you need to do, I want to make sure that I'm sharing some of my best resources and solutions with you as part of the Sister Sense sale. You can sign up to this VIP list opportunity over at sistasense.com/sale. Okay, so feel free to drop that into the comment box. Love it. Miss Turquoise Blue says, this week I will pre-record a webinar. Awesome. So you guys want to think about, what are you going to do this week? What are you going to commit to? How are you going to make sure that you're not overextending yourself? Love to see my girl Turquoise Blue on here. Like I said, today is the day I do Clarity Calls days, and I believe we've got a session in a few hours. So that's something awesome to think about. How are you going to set yourself up for success this week? By completing the statement, this week I will ... Now, here's reminder number 4, okay? Now, I think it's number 5, because I said to you, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? That was one of the last things that I said. For me, it's about taking those bigger projects and breaking them up into smaller tasks. So for the client that I spoke to earlier on today and her book project, breaking that up into something that she can work on a weekly basis for 6 to 8 weeks, that is what I was talking about, right? Actually, you know, when I think about breaking things up, I have a program. It's called the Finish Faster program. It's actually a part of my fall VIP list bundle over at sistasense.com/sale. Finish Faster is for my clients out there looking to get better at writing books, at creating digital products and virtual content, quickly creating quality content. That's one of my superpowers. So the Finish Faster 4-week program, which starts literally in about 2 weeks. We're going to go for 4 weeks, and every single week, I'm going to give you some of my favorite signature templates, number 1, and number 2, solutions to help you finish those projects faster. So for those of you who currently are working on book projects or virtual content, information content, digital, downloadable, good, I want to share some Finish Faster smart solutions with you as part of the 4-week program. So I break it up so that every single week there's something that we're working on to really help you knock out and quickly create quality content. So when you think about that, what are some of your big projects right now? Think about them. Feel free to drop them in here. What are some of the big projects that you've got on your to-do list for the next coming weeks and or the next quarter? How can you work on breaking those bigger projects into smaller weekly tasks to help you move forward, especially on a day like Hump Day when you got that slump kind of feeling? You want to make sure that you got some smart ways to maintain your momentum and your motivation. So remember, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. AHSTS, that's one of my signature Sister Sense acronyms. Always have something to say, always have something to share, and always have something to sell. So for those of you out there who have products, who have services, I want to remind you to check in with your audience. Have you checked in this week to let them know what you're working on? We've got a Labor Day weekend. We've got a holiday coming up in a few days. Are you ready for that? Do you have a product to sell, right? Always have something to say, always have something to share, always have something to sell. What are some things that you're going to share, say, and sell, again, as far as the holiday sale that's coming up and the next month that's coming up as well? We are wrapping up this month in a few days. I gotta make sure you stay here. I know you want to go on the floor to be distracting, but that's not gonna happen. Distractions are everywhere. Prettyman is no exception. So hold them distractions or be aware of them so that you can make sure that you can work around them, okay? So That's something that I want you to think about as well. AHSTS, always have something to say, share, and sell, especially keeping in mind that there are a couple of holidays coming up. The first one, the next one anyway, being the Labor Day sale. Okay. Now, when I think about that, I also want to talk to you about two types of offers. You can offer people things that you have available now, and then you can think about offering them things that you have available next. So what's one thing that you've got available now that you can share with your audience? That's number one. Right? Number two, what do you got coming up next in the pipeline? So when you go over to sistersense.com/sale, that's an opportunity for you to see my fall VIP list. I had a summer VIP list with a whole bunch of good. Now I've got the fall VIP list. I'm going into there. And then number two, an opportunity for you to take advantage of the Labor Day sale. That is including some fabulous goodies of what I've got coming up next. So I have my Print Your Profits virtual coming up. I've got my Back to Business virtual coming up. I've got my Grow Your Customer Base, Grow Your Sales Masterclass coming up. Being able to access all of those live trainings plus the replays, that's included. That's what's coming up. I have my swipe files. I said to my ladies in my mastermind, I've got these great swipe files on different things I do to work on my profit, to work on my to-do list, to work on my email sequences. Who wants them? And then all of a sudden my inbox was flooded with people going, I want your swipe files. So I've got the swipe files big bundle coming up, as well as some awesome bonuses. That's what's coming up next. That's what I've put inside of my Sister Sense Labor Day sale. Good over at sistersense.com/sale. Thank you for the thumbs up, the hearts, and the love. Of course, sharing is what it's all about. So feel free to share this out to some folks that you feel like need to be in a space where they remember to remind themselves of these 7 super important messages. Okay. So I want you to think about that when it comes to you having something to say, share, and sell. Either identify one offer, one great offer, something that you've got available right now that you can share at a reduced rate, do some sort of a Labor Day sale, or give them an opportunity to get what you have coming up next at a reduced rate. So I think the Labor Day sale is great because for the next 24 hours, I have an initial extra super saver half off, and then it's going to go up, it's going to double, and then it's going to go away at the end of Labor Day. So I want you to take a look at that to get an example of some of the types of sales that I strategically put together. And of course, take advantage of it if you feel like those upcoming goodies, the upcoming events that I'm doing, the swipe files, the bonuses, if you feel like any of that good is something that you would like, of course, take a look at the sale, sistersense.com/SALE. So the last thing that I want to share with you here, because I had 7 important messages that I wanted to remind you of at this point in the middle of the week. Here's the last one. Planes fly against the wind, not with it. Planes fly against the wind. This is something that's important because some of you are looking for your wins. You're looking for your progress. You're looking for success, and you're trying to figure out why the struggle is real, why it's so hard to secure the bag, why it's so hard to get people to say yes, to either work with you or buy the good that you got. You've got to understand that in order to rise, in order to work from going and taking that leap of faith to getting to the other side of success, you got to go against the wind, not with it. Things are not going to work out every day. You're not going to have high energy every day. People are not going to say yes every day. Look, for real, there's some folks out there that I'm like, oh my God, how come you didn't say yes? And it kills me just a little bit. But at the end of the day, the only way you can fail is if you quit. You got to keep going. You got to understand that the struggle is going to be real. But when you're an entrepreneur, it's just not about the feel good. It's about the real good. You living in your purpose, you helping the people you wish to serve, and you bringing in the kind of revenue that you want so you can GRO. I talk about grow. That's one of my signature Sister Sense acronyms. You want to GRO, get rich online. You got to GRO, generate revenue online. But in order to do that, you got to GRO, focus on your goals, your routines, and your offers. You feel me? There's 3 levels to grow. GRO. getting rich online, generating revenue. You got to generate that real revenue before you can get rich. But in order to generate that real revenue, boo, you got to focus on your goals, your routines, and your offers. GRO. Now, again, I really want you to dig in and understand that the challenges are going to be there. Some folks, when they think about entrepreneurship, they're like, I want to have passive income. I want to be on the beach sipping pina colada. Everything about entrepreneurship for them is the image of easy, fast, freedom, flexibility, not having to do all the stuff that they don't want to do now. But entrepreneurship in reality is spending a few years of your life doing what most people won't, so you can spend the rest of your life living how most people can't. In order for you to do that, you got to get to the not so good sometimes. So it's not always going to feel good. But when you struggle, when you go through the struggle, when you push against the wind, because again, planes, they fly against the wind, not with it. You're going to understand that that struggle is a part of the process. It's not, how come it's easy for them and it's not easy for me? Everybody struggles. Don't be looking at folks and they winning season because you weren't around during their losing season. You didn't see what they had to power through. You didn't see the wind they had to fight against to get to where they are. So those are, for me, the 7 things that I want to remind you of today. Okay, let's go through them really quickly. I want you to feel like, and feel free to resonate. Let me know what resonates with you, which of these messages really connected to you. Okay, first one, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. If you've been struggling this week and a couple of things have not been working and you are really stuck on doing it a certain way, understand that, guess what? This is an opportunity for you to find out, what am I supposed to learn here? One of my favorite quotes is, sometimes God takes us down to our lowest point because there's something there for us to find, and maybe there's something there for us to fix. So look at that struggle as an opportunity to see the alert coming up that maybe there's something down there you need to find and or fix. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Number 2, you can either find a way or find an excuse, but you cannot do both. Don't be so stuck in seeing things work a certain way or get done a certain way, okay, that you don't move forward. You can find a way or find an excuse, but you cannot do both. So some of you guys, look, you say, I want to have money to invest in my business. I want to be able to get these things, but the money's not coming in. Well, then get smarter about the money that is coming in. I gave you guys, and let me remind you, the Find Your Funds challenge is a 5-week challenge. Who's doing the challenge? Number 1. And what week are you on the Find Your Funds to Fund Your Business challenge? You can start any week. I said, I want you to pick a number, 20, 100, or 200. Pick a number, and you're going to save that every week for 5 weeks. If you pick 20, after 5 weeks, you have $100 to invest in your business. If you pick 100, after 5 weeks, you have $500 to invest in your business. And if you pick 200, after 5 weeks, you got $1,000 to invest in your business. I strategically worked on that. I had a specific thing that I wanted to get done. And hun, I did the 5-week challenge, got my $1,000, and boop, made it happen. If I did that, you can do that. Whether you save $200, $100, or $20 a week, identify what you're saving it for, identify how much you're going to put aside in every single week. Trust me, you jump on here in my web classes, at some point, I'm going to share the Find the Funds to Fund Your Business challenge, so I can remind you to stick to the challenge. Do what you got to do to put those things aside for you. You can find a way or find an excuse, but you cannot do both. That's message number 2 that you got to remind yourself of this week, okay? So what are those things that you're trying to do? And maybe you've got some excuses, or you telling yourself that it has to be done this way. Think out of the box, get creative so you can work it out, okay? That's number 2. That's what it's all about. Number 3, I said to you, the only way you can fail is if you quit. So if you feel like giving up right now, if something is driving you crazy right now, feel free to leave that in the comment box and let me know. Leave it alone, right? Sometimes you got to take a break from it, or sometimes you got to power through it. But either way, you know you got to do it. You cannot fail. The only way you can fail at this is if you quit. It's never a win or lose. It's always a win or learn. Everything you do is a lesson. So don't quit. Don't give up on you. I also said to you that I want you to keep in mind that it's important for you to understand the fastest way to fail. You fail fast when you overcommit. So the only way you can fail is if you quit, but you just might fail fast if you overcommit. So when you put these things on your to-do list, I want you to be in a place where you are comfortable about you being able to knock these things out. Create practical plans of action for yourself. Okay, so that's something that I wanted to share with you as well. I believe that was 1, 2, 3. Number 3, number 4. AHSTS, always have something to say, always have something to share, always have something to sell. We have got a Labor Day sale coming up this weekend. Are you ready to sell some stuff? What are you going to sell? I said to you, you can either think about something you've got available now that you can sell, or something that's coming up next that you can sell as a pre-order. Grab it while you can at a great reduced rate. By the way, Labor Day weekend is coming up. Make sure that you go and grab the Sister Sense Fall VIP List, big, beautiful bundle of swipe files, upcoming virtual events, and bonuses just for you over at sistersense.com/sale, starting at literally $10. So that's something for you to think about. Number 1, 2, 3, 4. Always have something to say, share, and sell. Number 5 is you miss all the shots that you do not take. You miss all the shots that you don't take. So I want to make sure that you don't hesitate to put yourself out there, or you don't regret putting yourself out there, or you don't feel bad finding yourself in a place where you compare yourself to other people. Dig into what you've got. Dig into what you've done, and understand that you will, just like in basketball, miss all the shots you don't take. So what shot are you going to take this week? How are you going to go out there and get those no's? How are you going to put yourself out there to reach more people, to make more connections, create partnership opportunities, collaborate, cash flow? How are you going to work on those things? The only way to do that is to put yourself out there, right? You miss the shots that you don't take. What shots are you hesitant on? Are you resistant on? Because you don't know how it's going to go. But guess what? We are not future, what is it called? What is psychics, right? We don't know what the future holds. All we can do is put our best foot forward and move forward, right? So make sure you remember you miss all the shots that you don't take. Number 6, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I want you to identify the big projects that you've got on your to-do list this week. Break them up into small tasks so that you don't fail fast and overcommit. You break it up into small tasks so that either 1 hour to 2, 3 hours, you can work on those tasks throughout the week. For each of these that I'm giving you, I really want you to dig in and get specific about how you're going to implement, how you're going to remember to remind yourself of these things. Because not every day is a great day or a high energy day or a huge cash flow day. There's some days where we just need to check in with ourselves and remember to remind ourselves of things that are going to help us maintain our momentum and stay motivated, right? Self-motivation is the key when you are an entrepreneur like me. Now, last but not least, I want to remind you that planes do not fly with the wind. They fly against the wind. They fly against the struggle, against the opposition. So if you're in entrepreneurship because you think it's going to be easy and it's always going to feel good, you got to know that struggle is a part of the process. Failure is a part of the process. In order to get to your definition of success, you're going to have to go against the wind. You're going to have to go against the grain. You're going to have to put some skin in the game. So I want you to understand that whatever you're going through this week, whatever struggles, that's just there because that's what you got to go through to soar, to fly, to get to the other side of success. So hopefully these 7 messages, these super important messages that I wanted to share to help you, especially today in the middle of the week with a little midday motivation, have been helpful to you. Feel free, like I mentioned before, to drop into the comment box for me which of any of these strategies or recommendations or sayings really hit home for you right now. You can share this out. You can tag somebody who needs to hear what we're talking about. And of course, make sure that you remember to go over to sistersense.com/sale between now and Labor Day. That gives you the opportunity to get into my Sister Sense VIP Fall Circle. So you have access to all my upcoming virtual events. You've got access to the upcoming swipe files that I'm going to be sharing. And you've got access to some of the big, beautiful bonuses that I want to give to you to help you with your money, marketing, and sales goals. Again, feel free to drop that link into the comment box for me, sizzlesense.com/SALE sale. All right. And of course, when you're there, if you have any questions, feel free as you're on the sizzlesense.com website to click the gray tab on the right to send me a voice message. Whether you've got questions about the fall VIP list or you got questions about just you trying to power through the week and get some things done, feel free to either send me that voicemail message, click the gray tab on the right of the sizzlesense.com website, or email sizzlesense@gmail.com. So that's it, y'all. I got to go in about 30 minutes. I've got my next clarity call because Wednesdays is my clarity call day. So hopefully I get to talk to some of you one-on-one today. But of course, if you would like some support, if you feel like life is struggle, if you feel like things is getting real, you going against the grain, you going against the wind, and you still need something to keep you motivated, I do have a 5 clarity call bundle, and you can learn more about it when you go over to sizzlesense.com/sale. So if you feel like you need to have an opportunity to check in with me and talk to me every now and again, you can get 5 30-minute clarity calls. That great bundle is available also over at sizzlesense.com/sale as part of my Sister Sense Fall Circle experience. So, all right, y'all, that's it. Mwah. Take care. Talk to you next time.